Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, Crazy Women Country friends. I'm Donna.
I'm Paula, and today we have Kimberly Kelly with us. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
I love that accent, I have to say. I could sit here and listen to you talk all day.
I love it. I love your accent as well. Sometimes I worry if I've lost it, because I live up in Tennessee, but some kid, I went to Louisiana over the weekend to get the puppy. Have y'all heard of Chancey Neal? She's an artist. She's a good friend of mine. You should check her out if you haven't. And she played a show, and we went to it. And one of her little cousin that was there, I said something, and he goes, "Right?" And I said, my accent, are you laughing at it? And he just kind of grinned and laughed. And I said, it's okay, because sometimes I worry if I live in Tennessee for so long, I would lose it. But he was like, nope, you still got it.
That's so cool. I love it.
So what area of Texas are you from?
I am from Lorena, which is 15 minutes south of Waco. So right in the heart central of Texas.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
So that means nothing to me, so I'll have to look at the map now.
That's beautiful country.
If you, well, there's a couple of reasons why people would know of Waco. The most recent would be Magnolia and Chip and Joanna on HGTV. They flipped houses. They had a show called Fixer Upper, and they've kind of revitalized the town. They've given it a fresh look. They're flipping houses, the farmhouse decor.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
At a price.
We'll be in Austin this year, so maybe we'll have a chance to drive down and check it out. But
yeah, you should.
That would be cool.
Absolutely.
That would be cool. That'd be cool.
You should.
So,
absolutely.
Tell all our Crazy Women Country fans, who is Kimberly Kelly?
Okay, Kimberly Kelly is a country artist that represents the working woman, I think, because I came from a small town just outside of Waco in Texas. My mom she worked at the school. My dad was a mechanic. Before that, my mom was a hairdresser. They would just work all week and then hang out on the weekends, whether it be at a dance hall or just the little dive bars around town. Is that loud out there? Do you hear that construction, or are you good?
I heard a little bit, but not much.
Okay, just checking. And, their friends would come over. My dad's friends would hang out in the garage. And I just feel like myself as a person, I still work as a speech therapist. But the whole time I've maintained my music career, I didn't know how. People used to say you can't have a plan B. And I always thought, well, I want to be able to take care of myself. And if I can't take care of myself, I'm not going to free up my mind when I need to be creative, because I'll be worried about taking care of myself. And so I feel like I've just somehow balanced it up to this point. And I'm reaching a point where I'm fortunately going to get to put the day job to the side. But I still feel like as an artist, I embody that. It's in those songs. I mean, I know it might sound cliche, but it's songs that are just that normal people listen to, because I feel like I'm still just a very normal person. I mean, it's songs that you can sing along to in the car. I'm not a rangy vocalist. They're pretty simple stories. They're sometimes it's about love, sometimes it's about cheating, just the stuff I grew up listening to. But I feel like it's the average working 9-to-5ers you don't have to be 9 to 5. It's just the people who are multitasking, that's me. I'm a
I love
multitasker.
it. I love it. I must admit, when I first heard it, or started listening to your music, it felt like home. It felt like the country music I fell in love with, you know, sort of back in the 80s and stuff with Reba and I was like, you know, this is what it's all about. I mean, I love the new stuff, but that really took me back to, you know, when I first heard Reba, you know, when you first discovered country music. So,
and I don't think that it's not, I just feel like I make music that I want to hear. And that's it. And so it does resonate people. And what you got out of it is exactly what I love to get out of the type of country music that I listen to. It just, it's like, I don't want to think about it too much necessarily. You know, it's like, it's like everyday stuff. And it's just good.
It's easy going, but you can still.
Yes.
Yeah, it's easy going, but you still get the story and you still get the feel for it and the emotion, but it's not as intense as
it's intertwined with your life.
Some songs can be.
Yeah,
perfect. I love it.
That's how I feel. I love that you got that out of it.
I just loved all of it because the first time I heard your voice, I was like, oh, I'm like, that's so, like, it was just perfect. It was like, this just reminds me of everything we've ever heard on the radio prior to like this new pop culture. And I was like, oh, nice breath of fresh air, so to speak. And
that means a lot. Like I said, I know what my strengths are. My strengths are, and not that I know I can sing, but it's like, I don't sing like Carrie Underwood. You know what I mean? She is amazing and that's her thing, but it's like, I think I shine, entertaining and just, you know, letting the song speak for itself. But that means a lot that you do like my voice. I used to describe to people like I didn't really know if I sounded good, but when I sang, my dad's a mechanic, and I was like, it just feels like all the gears line up just right in my being when I'm singing. So, and then if it sounds good, that's great.
It's always a plus, huh?
Yeah, you know, yeah. I do know when I'm sounding not good though.
I will say one thing. I really like that you mentioned that you had the plan B to fall back on. And, you know, I think that's one thing that I could relate to in that in general. Just, I think most people think that way, but there are those that, like you were saying, it's option A and there's no plan B and go for broke. And I'm like, I don't know. There's some things you can do that with. I like food. I like shelter, you know, clothes. We were talking about this with someone else. So, you know, like those little things, you know, they're important. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be a huge house. Just, you know.
I'm not wired like that. Some people are. I am not. But I used to worry because I'm a worrier. I try to be better about it, but I think I'm just wired like that. I used to think, oh, people won't think I want to do music as much if they know I've gone to college but it's like, no. So, yeah.
Maybe it's the plan for after the career, you know, maybe later in life you want to do something different. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, and I like it because I can always, you know, and I went into a career where I could, as a speech therapist, that's somebody who at a school, you work with students who, you know, maybe can or can't say certain sounds correctly, or they may have a language impairment, they may have autism. It's communication. And then at a nursing home or a hospital, you may work with stroke patients who are having swallowing difficulties, or they're having to learn to speak again. So there's a lot of things that you can do within it. So it's been a nice career because you don't really get bored with it because you can kind of do different things with it. And I've thought, you know, if I have to quit from signing this deal, it'll be a minute just because the way that the climate is right now, you know, nobody's really touring. And so I won't be quitting immediately, but I've started to think about if I'll miss my kids, you know, the kids that I see, because they're so entertaining. And I think it's kept me young hearted. Like the other day we were walking, I have a portable building that I teach in. And we were walking from the actual school to the portable and it started sprinkling. And one kid goes, I'm allergic to rain. And I was like, well. I was like, you do know that means that you would be allergic to all water, right? They're just so funny. They just, I don't know.
They come out with the best things.
It's that cute innocence about them that you just, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
They just, yeah, I don't know.
It's perfect. You have to laugh.
So now I'm going to ask, I saw there was you put a little post up the other day on your Instagram, and I saw there's potentially some new music coming.
Yes. I had what's called an A&R meeting last Friday, which stands for Artist and Repertoire, real fancy word. They match, usually at a label, there would be an A&R representative and publishers pitch songs to them. Y'all may know this. And so we've been gathering some songs. I've written some songs, and we just kind of met with the team and on the whiteboard wrote out the things that we all kind of liked and just kind of how like things fit together. And I have to turn in my record July 1st. So I'm about to start recording probably in May. Because I think we need one more song. And so we'll circle back around to see if I can write it or find it. And then it'll come out, I believe, January or February of 2022. But in that meeting, we had some other random ideas pop up that were exciting. We're like, hey, maybe we should do this, this, and this, and trickle that out in the meantime. So I think I'm actually going to get to do something very fun that'll start coming out maybe in like a single song at a time, maybe this summer, kind of leading up to it.
Wonderful.
So yes.
Definitely
Yes.
looking forward.
We'll keep our eyes peeled. Eyes
Yes.
and ears peeled. This new stuff.
And this deal that I'm signing, we've been working on it. It's my last EP, the Don't Blame It On Me EP, is what actually caught the attention of a man named David Macias, who owns and runs a company called 30 Tigers. They've had like Sturgill Simpson and Tyler Childers and Coulter Wall and just all kinds of people. And he's set me up with someone else, so it's kind of a pairing. And so it's really neat because I'll get to touch a little bit in that realm and then also a little bit in the commercial country realm. It's perfect for me. And so I think I'll get to do maybe some cool things that maybe I wouldn't. But he heard that EP and he's been trying to make something. He's had a couple things and finally it all lined up now. So it's that EP came out in 2018, 2020. So, I mean, it's been 2.5 years. So when I made that EP, I honestly didn't know if I was going to make another one. I was like, this is it. I've worked so long. This is my last ditch effort. This is, I need a team behind. I mean, I raised money for that one. I do have a team of people, but working and getting married and maybe possibly considering having children, I was like, how much longer can I do this if I don't, and just not being able to only do that. And so I feel like it was meant to be for me to keep going because what I needed landed, even though I didn't know I needed it necessarily. Maybe it's not like I needed that and that's what came. So here I am. If somebody wants, people are here, and the only expectation I have is I get to make another record, and the other one is I want to play the Opries. So I do have 2 expectations. But I'm making another record with country music like I want to, and I get to play the Opries. So
that's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And you're all invited.
Okay, we'll try to be there.
Okay.
For sure. So obviously, I know you mentioned some people earlier, but who are some of the women that have inspired you to kind of do music in general? So who are
I love Patti Loveless, Reba McEntire, Dolly Parton. Okay, I didn't know that people wrote their own songs, to be honest, until Mariah Carey, and then Shania Twain in the 90s. I was reading the liner notes and I started to notice. And I remember it was just, and honestly, I think even at the time, not in me just reading the Shania Twain lyrics, I think it was a big deal for her to write all of those songs. You know, she was kind of one of the only ones. And then I went through a phase of thinking, I'm from Texas, so let me preface this. In Texas, I feel like you start playing all these bars and stuff, and you got to write your own songs. Like, you're going to play some covers, but people want to hear you write some songs, so you got to write your songs. So that thrust me into writing. But when I was younger, I'm getting off topic. Anyways, I might get back to that in a little bit. Shania Twain, Mariah Carey, Reba, Dolly, Patti Loveless, the Judds. I mean, you name it. And Trinklin, Pam Tillis, Lori Morgan, all of them. So if you want me to talk about songwriting later, I will.
I must admit, well, I was a bit that way. I love the music, but I didn't really know where the songs came from or anything like that. And I remember reading, I think it was one of Reba's, and of course, back then she didn't really write much for stock, and I was absolutely devastated. I'm like, what?
I was about to say that, but I was like, pull back, because then I went through a phase of thinking, well, they're cheating. They're not right. I thought everybody needed to write their songs. I was like, well, that person's just a singer. I mean, people that I loved. And then obviously it was just, well, the curtain had been pulled back. I was like, oh my gosh, there's people who make a living as just songwriters. And then I was like, so now I'm back to just may the best song win. Because the songs, it needs to be about the songs. Like, there are people who are born to, and I'm talking about the span of my whole entire life. I'm not talking about like last year I had all these epiphanies. And my husband is a songwriter. So sometimes it's just, we've got to sacrifice what, maybe having a piece of it all. Just make a good record. If you can write it, write it. But if something else beats that, let that thing come on over, because people, they don't care as much as you think, the fan. You know what I mean? You and I maybe only cared for a minute because we were really diving in, reading the liner notes. But because are we going to say that? And just in doing research on, say, Dolly Parton, she didn't write her first biggest hit, Dumb Blonde, So and I just assumed that Dolly Parton wrote everything. And she wrote the ones that everyone knows. Jolene, I Will Always Love You. But she wrote Two Doors Down. There's another one. Here You Come Again. She didn't write that one. So it's like you would think, but it's like that's how she's a great artist, because it's like she's like, I can write, but that's a good song. I'm gonna cut it. So
and she managed to take that song, make it her own, and make everybody believe that she could.
100%. If you sell it, if it means something to you, if when you hear it, it says something, it strikes a chord in you like you would just as a listener, then you need to cut it as a singer, because you're just the messenger.
Yeah, I think you make a great point on that. I like it, not just Dolly, but I was listening to Luke Layard, one of his that he did for Miranda, and when you heard the original, I'm like, from the original to what Miranda cut, I'm like, two different songs. I'm like, holy cow, those were good though. But it was just such an inspiring thing to see that, because I'm that type that I like to see the songwriter side, being someone that writes lyrics that, so I like that area. But obviously, I like to see what comes out of it, what their interpretation is at the end, and how they can and sell it to everyone.
And Miranda's another one. She's written the majority of her stuff, but then some other stuff she hasn't written. Like, she didn't write The House That Built Me. So I think you just got to let the songs speak for themselves.
Yeah. And as I said, it's a sign of a good artist if they can sing it in a way that, you know, you believe that they wrote it themselves. You know, that's a sign of, you know, someone who's
Absolutely.
just amazing. So, yeah. Perfect. Oh,
So are we ready for the exciting part?
Yes. Oh, I'm nervous.
No, don't get nervous.
Are we playing a game?
We are playing a game. It's quick fire questions.
Yes. Okay, I'm nervous.
No, this is the part where it's just about fans getting to know you. As
Okay.
You're off the desk. So yeah, it's just some fun random questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Nothing too dodgy. They're all just fun, you know.
The most difficult we might ask is explain the meaning of E equals MC squared, but you know, that's okay. You don't have to do that if you don't
I
want.
was like, I was about to say, are you gonna ask me math questions? Because I'm allergic to rain. Okay, that's my answer. I don't know.
Best answer ever. Okay, early bird or night owl?
You know, it depends on the day. Because, you know, when I have to get up, I get up. But then I'll be doing something around the house till midnight. I would say early bird, because probably a night owl is like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I can't hang.
Yeah.
Although I might be hanging because we're about to get a Whataburger down the street, so I will be hanging. My sister, do y'all know my sister? Her name's Kimberly Kelly. She's a country singer also. She is a night owl. Her and my mom will FaceTime at like 3 or 4 in the morning. I am not the night owl.
Both of you on for an interview sometime.
Yes, you should. You
We
should.
can get you both on together, then that'll be quite funny.
Oh yeah, we could. Yeah, we could do one of those TikTok pillow things. Like you ask a question and we just hit each other.
Pass it around.
Yeah.
Beach or countryside?
Countryside.
Favorite season?
I think I like spring.
Perfect.
It's just
Favorite no, go on, sorry.
well, I don't know. Sometimes I think fall, but I like a lot of the things that go on in the fall. Like it's just cozy and eventful. But I think I like spring because everything just the air smells different and it's like cool. It's starting to be cool and things are blooming. Spring.
Nice. Yes. Your biggest fear?
I don't like spiders or large cockroaches or heights. Not real good at heights. Spiders. And when I say cockroaches, I mean like the American ones that are like this big.
Like the palmetto bugs, those big. Yeah.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Ugh.
That's
We had a brown
right.
recluse problem at my old house. I mean, now I could tell you all about them, but things that I can't see: spiders, large roaches, and heights.
And heights. Okay. Favorite holiday?
I don't know. Maybe Christmas, just because, or maybe it's either. Yeah, probably Christmas. I just like being back home with my family. My dad has a very large side of his family, and it's just hilarious. Unfortunately, my dad, I still call her my stepmom, but he was married to my stepmom for 16, 17 years, and they separated, but they're still together all the time. She did this really cool thing. She even had a lottery Christmas tree. So that's great, right? So my dad and my stepmom would go buy a bunch of lottery tickets, $1, $2, $5, $10, and then some 20s. And my dad made a tree, and each of the adults would grab a little token with a number on it, and then we would all go grab the 4, 5, or 6 numbers that we had, and we'd just sit there and scratch for like 20 minutes. And it was just so fun while the kids would play. And then my grandma's house. So I think just being around family, but I would say Thanksgiving is a close second because I love being around them at Thanksgiving and then knowing that there's one more coming like 3 or 4 weeks later. So
sounds good. Favorite drink?
Right now, matcha green tea latte from Starbucks. I'm really embarrassed. Otherwise, Dr. Pepper. Alcoholic beverage. I'm giving you more info than you need. I like Michelob Gold and Jack and Ginger. My husband used to work at Starbucks, and he wanted me to. I don't like coffee. I don't really drink it.
No.
And he wanted a coffee partner, and so he started teaching me all these other drinks that you could get at Starbucks, and now I go get the matcha green tea latte all the time. I'm like, you started this, so
It's your fault.
yeah. I wish I could say my favorite drink was water because I need to drink more of it.
I think we're all in that same boat sometimes.
It's terrible. I'm terrible.
Do you know the summer's fine? The summer's fine because it goes down easy, but winter it's like, oh, it's too cold. It's just
Drinking water, you drink it in the summer, and
summer's easy because it's so hot out here. So drinking water is just easy. But in the winter, water's cold. And I like my tea. So
how hot does it get there?
It depends, but most of the summer it's 30s and above.
30s. Okay, are y'all on the Celsius?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm smarter than a fifth grader. See that? I knew the table, the conversion, but I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. But I knew you were on the other one.
But we could Google it.
What is?
I think it's like the 90s. I want to guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guessing in the 90s.
90s.
Yeah.
We have hit the 40s, which was just way too hot. But yeah, most days it's just gorgeous. So yeah, it's good. Okay, better than England because England's full of rain. left or right-handed?
I'm right-handed, but I do a left-handed cartwheel.
Favorite animal?
Dogs.
Of course.
Oh.
Of course. Dogs are the best animals ever.
I know.
Favorite color?
Blue.
If you could talk to anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and what would you want to talk about?
Abraham Lincoln. I have a strange fascination with Abraham Lincoln. He's just so stoic, and I just would just want to. And you read this stories about him, and he also seemed very funny, like a dry sense of humor. I think it'd be neat to, tell him or to have him see where everything is these days, and then just talk about that with him, like talk about what it was like back then. And I don't know, I have a strange fascination with Abraham Lincoln.
That's pretty cool.
That's great. I actually like that one. Yeah. What's one of your hobbies?
Probably I love to organize. I don't know if that's a hobby. That might be an obsession. I would say I've taught my older dog a lot of tricks. And then with this new puppy, I just signed up we're going to start agility training.
Oh.
And when she's 10 weeks old, because I have border collies. And I wish, and I'm going to talk to the lady in charge. I'm looking back over here because the older one's like passed out. I hate talking about her like that. She's the older one. This new puppy thing is still new, and I've had the old one since she was a pup, so I feel like I'm being a traitor. I think it'd be fun to really learn I want the younger one to run agility courses. And I think it would be fun on the weekends every now and then if Brett and I took her to competitions, and I'm not trying to be best in show on TV, but more just to give the dog something. I think it would be so neat to train, because I trained Jessie with a bunch of tricks. And she's so smart, but then to have a pro, I was just younger when I got her, and I just didn't think about it was my first border collie and I was learning about it. But so I would actually say that's probably something that I didn't realize that is a hobby that is like itching to be fed, because it's, for me, honestly, working full time as a speech therapist, when I'm not doing speech therapy, I'm doing my music stuff. So that has been my hobby, but not my hobby, if you know what I mean. It's like I don't other things outside of it.
I think they call them side gigs or hustles now. So
yeah, it's not a hobby because it's been my hobby, but it's been a lucrative hobby and something that I've been trying to make full time. So, but I think my hobby is about to be dog agility training. And you'll see her now. You've seen her as a pup, and then as I'm talking in my dog voice, and then as this goes on, you'll be like, "There's Reba. She won a blue ribbon or something," you know.
We are going to put that on our Instagram. I swear, we will.
Yeah, you should. You'll be like,
you can make TikTok videos.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you our TikTok. You could take it over anytime you want. You know, you can do dog videos, whatever.
Dog tricks. I'll do some dog tricks. I've been meaning to do that on mine. Do a trick of Jesse's like once a week, but I'm busy. I've been working.
If you were a musical, what musical would you be?
You know, Grease. Does that count?
That counts.
Grease.
I love that. Grease rock.
Yeah, because we watched that the other day. I watched that and Dirty Dancing repetitive as a child, but Grease, because I haven't seen a whole ton of musicals, I don't think, but I've never been to Broadway.
That's a good pick.
Didn't Reba do one? Annie, Get Your Gun or something?
Yes, Annie.
Reba did Annie Get Your Gun on Broadway. Yeah,
I'd probably be that one.
Yeah. I could see that. If you're a mythical creature, what creature would you be?
Like a fairy or something?
Yeah, like that.
I'd probably be a frog.
A frog?
Is that mythical? That's not mythical. Mythical.
Unicorn.
Maybe the dog Falcor in the Never-Ending Story.
That's great.
That's what I would be.
that is so cool.
I was talking, now you mentioned that I talked with a friend of mine recently, and I'm like, where do I find a copy of this? They're like, Netflix. I'm like, really?
Is it on Netflix?
That's what she's told me. So I'm like, I haven't checked it out, but I'm like,
good. Yeah, can't you just imagine just flying through, just chilling like a big old puff dog?
My little white dog, Bilbo, when he has a haircut, looks like him.
Yeah.
He's a bit fluffy at the moment. He's also
love it.
When he has a haircut, he looks like him. Looks quite cool.
Oh, if you were a Disney character, what character would you be?
The old lady Teacup in Beauty and the Beast.
Aw.
Who's kind of like, you know, like that old lady with all the wisdom who's like messing with people though at the same time.
Oh,
that is so cool. I love that.
What's one of your favorite snacks?
Right now, my husband called me the snack master when we first met. I've been eating a lot of wheat thins and cottage cheese, but the ultimate snack, if you don't know about it, is popcorn, and then we put peanut M&Ms in it. Because if you get it right out of, you're welcome. Saw your eyes light up. Right after it gets out of the microwave, it's hot, you know, and then you put the peanut M&Ms in, and some of them sink, and it melts the chocolate on the end. They just get kind of softer, but then you get the salt still with the peanut.
Nice.
Real good.
So if there was a song recommendation, like one song you've been listening to that you would say you have to listen to everyone, what song would that be?
I really liked Ingrid Andress's, why am I drawing a blank? Breaking More Hearts Than Mine. Such a good song. I mean, what do you say about that? It just made the hair on my legs stand up. It's just a real good song. I mean, that's exactly what happened. So they wrote it perfectly, and the music matched it. And if people hadn't heard it, they should go back and listen to it. So
perfect. Cool. Okay, this is your final question.
Okay.
Who is your favorite CWC host?
Oh no. Both of you. Is that the right answer?
That's the perfect answer.
Okay.
Perfect answer. It's normally the cat. The cat's had more votes than us two put together. So.
Oh, really?
He's been getting a lot of votes. Yeah.
Yes.
The kitty.
Yes.
She comes on.
Or I
The
could say,
cat.
Mom told me not to pick favorites. Maybe that's good.
I love that. Yeah. I'm not allowed to pick favorites. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So tell all our fans what's in store for 2021.
Well, I'm gonna have probably 4 songs come out. I think you'll be surprised. I will start. I turn in my record in July, and then we'll kind of start gearing up for the release early 2022. So I'll start being more active on my socials. I try to do the best I can now. I'm working and I'll have ideas, and then I get home from work and I don't always, but it is me. So when people are talking to me, it's me that answers. If I'm slow to respond, it's because I was working, but I'll have a few meetings with some people I think that will help me lay some things out, and we may get a bunch of things done at once. So then it can come out as just kind of gearing up for the project coming out.
Perfect.
You get some new music.
Sounds good. We're looking forward to this now.
Yes. Oh, if you haven't, now this is like looking at old prom pictures, but if anyone listening liked any of my first record, first and second, and I mean, to me, it's like, if you only listen to the last EP, don't blame it on me. I'm fine with that because the other stuff is so old, but I'm very proud of it. But you listen to it and you're like, I would have done that different maybe. It's probably going to go away. They'll probably make me have to take it down at some point leading up to this other stuff, and because it's not part of the deal. So if you want it, like if people still want physical copies, I actually have physical copies of the second album, Sweet Time Dreamin'. I don't have physical copies of the first one, but download it on iTunes or whatever you want to do. I don't want people mad at me next year because they'll be like, "Where's that?" And I'll be like, "Well, they took it. But if you call me, I'll hook you up."
So is there any other place other than iTunes? Like, do you have any on Amazon Music? Are they on there?
Yes, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, all that good stuff.
Okay. Perfect. We'll make sure we go download all those now.
Oh, I mean, only if you're diehard. If you just want to keep spinning the stuff that you've been listening to, I'm okay with that too. That's terrible. I shouldn't knock on myself like that, but it really is like looking at senior prom pictures. So
there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes they're nice. They're fun.
Yeah.
Memories.
Yeah, it is. It's yeah. I'm very proud of it. It's where I was at the time.
And it's one thing when, as you said, going back to the prom, if you will, when you grow as an artist too. And it's so cool. Like I remember watching Ashley McBryde.
Of course.
2017, and some of her original stuff that she was kind of just handing out to people so that would play her. That was such a good, some of those were so good. And I'm like, and you can't find them anywhere, obviously, but it's like,
right.
One day I'll just keep my fingers down, but yeah.
Yeah. And I literally just thought about her a few seconds ago when I was saying this, because I think she did an interview and she was like, I'm not going to knock on it too bad because that's where I was at the time. Mm-hmm. It's just, I think sometimes as artists, we worry too much about making a first impression. And so it's like the people who've grown with you, they know it. And it's like, as you go on, you're like, no, go listen to my best. And you think that the newest is your best. Yeah. Whereas like, it's so subjective. you know, but yeah, but I will say that all that will go away at some point. Unless they forget, and then it may just hang around and we'll be lucky.
They might forget to take it down from somewhere.
I'm not going to remind them. You know?
Can we make bootleg copies for you and just put them down?
Yeah.
You get in trouble for
I
that.
got 2 boxes in my shed right now. I mean, I'll be selling them out of the trunk of my car. I'll be selling them at dog agility training competitions on the weekends.
We won't be there.
Yeah.
You're ready to get the hot CD out of your trunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Oh,
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, no.
yes.
I really appreciate it.
If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.